Hey folks, so a few days ago I showed you a video on how to do the reduction, on how I do the reduction on the STLs for the denture trians or temp dentures, whatever you want to call them. But then I was talking to a buddy of mine who actually lives in Poland now, Andre, and he showed me a technique that works actually a lot better when it comes to highlighting things. And instead of the extrude tool, he actually uses the offset tool. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show you what he does. So instead of using the brush tool, he switches this over to lasso. And for me, the lasso instrument doesn't always light up. Sometimes I have to press on this red circle, kind of go back and forth and erase the selection for it to light up. But let's see if it's going to work now. And it seems to be working just fine for me right now. So I'm not 100% sure why that's working sometimes and why it's not working sometimes. But nonetheless, this is pretty much what you do. You go and you highlight right by the DEJ of every tooth, just like that, getting as close as possible without, interfering with things. Obviously, you don't have to go exactly. If you're a little worried about things, you can go kind of further away if you want. And you can do the entire denture with this technique. Since this file is pretty big, I am not going to do that. Simply because I'm afraid this program is going to freeze on me, so I'm only going to do half a denture and see how the results are going to be. There we go, right there, and we're going to go down to about right here, and then we're going to go this way. Okay. So this is really cool for the highlighting portion of things, I think. So I pretty much highlighted where I need to be working on. So from this point, what I used to do is I used to go to edit and I used to go into extrude right there, and then I would go -1 millimeter. And what we would do is, you can see right here, it would get the edges nice and sharp. You know what if we try to go back? Let me cancel out of this and let me press B to see if it's going to make my edges even more even. And I'm going to press accept. Something tells me those edges weren't even because I didn't press the B button. So let's try this. I'm going to try to do -1 millimeter again. And as you can see, it becomes a lot more sharper. So what Andre was telling me, when you're working within kind of the same plane, like half a denture, and you do the extrude function, and on constant, you'll get pretty good results because, it kind of all moving within the same averages. You can also switch things between like x-axis. You see how it's moving things out differently when you do x. Y-axis, I think, is supposed to work sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, I guess. And there's the z-axis option. So these are the ways you can do extrusions, but for this particular one, I guess the constant's working pretty good. Let me see how normal works. Yeah, normal. The way the normal works, I think what I learned that from Nate Farley's course, it takes each triangle, it just moves that one in each direction. That's why you see tears in these things. So in this case, for me, constant worked pretty good. But the way he does it, let me cancel out of this so I still have my selection here. He goes into edit and he goes into offset instead of extrude. And I think it's a little bit more complex function. And I don't know how well it's going to work on the dentures, on the full denture, which I haven't tried that one. But I'm going to do -1 here as well. And it's solving it, see right there. You have a little bit, you have a few options here as well. You can kind of adjust the transitions and regularities and accuracies. But if I leave it just like that, it's nice and sharp. I mean, look at these angles. I mean, they're really, really nice. And I can play around with transition. Let's say I'm going to increase this up a little bit. My computer is not the fastest computer, so it might take a little bit of time. But if you're playing around with transitions, I'm sure these corners are going to be a little bit softer if I do that. As well as regularities and accuracy is going to affect the edge as well. But even leaving this as is, I think that's pretty darn good. So yeah, it affected it slightly, I guess, if you go a little bit. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. And with this method, if your file size is okay and if your computer is not too slow, you can pretty much do the whole denture all at once, and that should work pretty good. So big thanks to Andre for teaching me this, and it's going to make things a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. So hopefully this will help you guys as well. And Carson, this is for you as well, my friend. Bye.